Opening statement: imaginary power possesses no entropy. It possesses negative entropy, instead, hidden underneath a square root radical of the square root of -1. Once the square root radical is removed, by squaring its content, unlimited energy is the result. Negative watts is the definition of the generation of power rather than its consumption. This occurs inside of a free energy circuit, supplementing its scarce amplitude of input by, effectively, converting some of the positive impedances of its capacitors and its coils into the negative impedances of capacitive reactance and inductive reactance. Using the principles of nonlinear dynamics, electrical reactance can be engineered to evoke this condition of negative watts and generate all of the imaginary power which we could possibly desire. The imaginary portion of apparent power, also known as the imaginary portion of complex power, is incapable of possessing entropy and, thus, is the sole source of free energy. Any other version of free energy is merely the recycling of energy or the extraction, or theft, of energy from somewhere else. These latter choices, of reuse or extraction, are effectively the same as the former choice, of utilizing imaginary power, but are not as fantastic, they are not as magical. Again, imaginary power is not useless. It is merely lossless, because it possesses no entropy. Pass imaginary power through a resistor, to boil all the water you want, to run a steam turbine, to rotate an electric generator to produce all the power you want instead of burning fossil fuels or irradiating our environment with the fallout from nuclear power plants. Do we really need any more plutonium than we already possess? All of these claims are supported by my personal experience of 7 years of simulating models of free energy circuits, which prompted me to engage these dialogues with artificial intelligence, which follows. Despite the hazards of simulating mathematical models of free energy circuits within a computer environment predicated upon 32-bit registers, the advent of 64-bit registers, since the outgrowth of Windows 10, precludes false positives to a degree so close to zero possibility that it is unnecessary to worry about that inherent flaw within computer architecture anymore. So, from a theoretical perspective, the mathematical models of electrodynamics support my claims. From a theoretical perspective, there is no argument. Merely from a practical perspective does it become a challenge to evoke these theoretical realities from physical circumstances. That's not the same as saying that it is impossible. That's the same as saying that it is difficult to produce free energy, and for good reason. The universe would not want its creation to spontaneously blow up without certain safeguards be put into place beforehand. These safeguards require the use of intelligence, in place of the raw input of power, to evoke these results. In fact, the presence of input power suppresses the overreactance of free energy circuits, while at the same time is required, to some degree, to be present to provoke this outpouring of free energy. This changes an input into becoming a catalyst to stimulate a circuit into the production of free energy, rather than allow an input to be a source of a prime mover, namely, not allow any input to become a significant source of external energy.